right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for the iEmail Cloud webinar we have for you, the complete integration between iMIS and Outlook. Please remember to put any kind of questions you have or anything like that in the Q&A. And if it's general feedback or some oohs and ahs, Doug is awesome, comments, keep those just to the chat and engage with other attendees there. Before we do our intros, I wanted to let you know that at the end of this, we have something amazing to show you. So there's actually two things to be exact. So if you've been on one of our webinars before, you will know what one of those are. And one is free that you could take advantage of today. With that, I am JT Fiedler. I'm the product and sales advisor here at CSI, and I'm joined by
Doug Morris. I'm the founder and chief product officer, and we have asked Lisa Pritchett and Billy Szymanski to join us to help out with the Q&A as well as the chat. I learned something. They run our support team there, and I learned something new from each of those each day. Lisa teaches me how to be humble, and Billy teaches me how uncool I am. So I appreciate both of them in my life. So thank you, Lisa and Billy, for being on the call. Real quick about CSI. Hopefully you've heard of us. We have been around since '92. We like to say we're the most experienced because when you say oldest in technology, it doesn't make me sound very good. In 2001, we made our first compatible iMIS product. It was called iMerge, and it's because we wanted to merge records better. You've met Lisa and Billy, our two full-time support employees. Each and every person at CSI is driven by constant, never-ending improvement. We're always trying to improve on what we do. So we're always looking for advice from you and guidance from you on what we can do better and what you need. Because ultimately, the more organizations we help, the happier we are at CSI. So you guys really help us enjoy our job, if you will. What we're going to see today with JT, me yelling at JT, does work if you're on EMS, and it also works if you're on iMIS 2017. So the product is agnostic as in terms of iMIS versions. So pretty cool stuff. So don't worry about it. If you're on 2017, you can use it, and then if and when you upgrade to EMS, which we hope you do, it'll work just as well there, maybe even a little better. And we are going to be showing you today iEmail Cloud, which is, as JT said, integration between Outlook and iMIS. Now, one of the interesting things that JT found about a year or two ago was this, how often we're spent on email. I think these numbers are low. And I think that many of you also have email open right now and might be typing an email. So as you saw by our webinar invite, we're in Outlook all the time. It's where we are. And I know I'm always trying to get better at it and stuff, but we're still brought in and it ends up being a big part of our day. So we really do think you should be integrating iMIS with it. On that note, right, you're in it right now. And so what we're going to do is we're going to, kind of show you what a day in the life might look like with iEmail.
The only difference in your day and what we will be showing is you probably don't have a Doug Morris yelling at you all day. So
those are strong suggestions. I rarely yell, but they are strong suggestions. All right, JT.
Yes.
Brandy Barber is going to be joining our awards committee. You got to let the awards committee know about it, and you should copy Brandy.
All right. So let's go ahead and start a new email, and we'll use the iEmail Cloud add-in from our Outlook account. We want to access the awards committee, so we'll go under groups, and for the type, we'll just simply select committee. You'll notice there are a handful of other group types that you can select. So when you do select committee, there's our awards committee. So this is going to pull, because of that direct integration, the most current and up-to-date roster for that given committee. And so you'll notice here are all of the members. We'll put everyone in the to field. So now it has pulled everybody's email address, and it's their most current one we have. It's not an old one or anything like that. And then we'll make sure to CC Brandy as well. So we'll go to the contact search. We will put Brandy, and here is Brandy's record. And I put
We don't have a resume on file, JT, just so, I hate to interrupt you, but don't forget she needs a resume too. Otherwise she can't be on the committee.
Perfect. Thank you for the reminder. So I'll go ahead. We'll send this welcome email, and we will go ahead and remind Brandy to send her CV through. Now I could, if I wanted to have this be displayed in iMIS on everyone's record, I can click Save to iMIS. But in this case, I'm just going to send out this email. So we'll go ahead, send it, and it is off. And it looks like Brandy actually read my mind. And here is the email. So, hi, JT, as requested, and the attached resume. So this is good. We'll go ahead, launch the iEmail Cloud add-in. And what it's doing is it is reading the email address in the from field, and it is trying to find a match to a record in iMIS. So in this case, we can see that there is Brandy's record, and we're going to save this attachment. So we're going to save this in iMIS as an interaction. So we'll save that as an interaction. And we can also click this view profile to jump right to her record in iMIS. So we can maybe see additional history or anything like that. And so I'll go ahead and show what that looks like here. Here's that interaction. And if we just open this, we'll notice there is the attachment. So the attachment was brought in and saved right to Brandy's record, so we can access her resume here. We could have also saved what's known as an EML file, so the entire email. However, in this case, we just wanted to save the true attachment that was on the email.
All right, JT. Cool. That's awesome. I've got some bad email addresses on there. We'll clean those up for our Asia Pacific demo. But you need to schedule that meeting. You've got to get that Teams invite out for the activity committee ASAP. And don't forget to include Brandy, even though she's not on the committee yet.
Yes. All right. I will go ahead and we'll make it February 2nd. So we'll just create it as if we were just sending out a normal kind of Teams meeting, essentially. So we'll go into that screen. And once again, you do have access to that iEmail Cloud add-in. And here is where we will select the people that we want to be in this meeting. So we'll go to the groups. We'll do the committee again, awards committee, and we're going to make everybody required. We'll simply select all, and then we can't forget about Brandy. So we'll go in here, and we'll make Brandy also on the required. And so from here, what we'll do is we'll just give it a title and a short message. So it's really that easy to be able to schedule a committee meeting or anything like that with a small group of individuals. And just to avoid the undeliverables, I'll just close this out.
This is live, not recorded.
And with that, I believe that we should be receiving an email as well from Lisa and or Billy saying they're interested in joining. And so this is when we're going to actually go in And if you don't have them in iMIS already, what you can do is you can actually create brand new iMIS records from Outlook. And so here we go. Here's Lisa. There is her message. And we can just go in to iEmail. And what we'll notice is it did not find this email address. So lpritchett at csiinc.com is not in iMIS. However, if it was, say, a personal email, but we knew Lisa was in iMIS, we can always use this search for contact. So this search for contact is going to pull up that same search criteria, and so you can find the given record in iMIS. But what we'll do is we will add Lisa, and we're also going to link her to Computer System Innovations. So we're going to link her to that organization, and we're going to save that. So then once it is added to our iMIS account or our instance, you'll notice now here is her new record. And what I'm going to do is I'm not in charge of kind of interested in joining or membership. So I'm going to actually assign this as a follow-up task for Doug. So I can go in here, I'll just assign it to Doug. And then for the follow-up date, I'm going to do today plus 5 days. So follow up in 5 days. That would probably be not very good. So I'll do 1 day instead. And I'll go ahead and save this as an activity. So now what this is doing is when Doug would log into iMIS under his My Tasks list, this follow-up activity would populate, as well as if he were to go to Lisa's record in iMIS. So it's a quick and easy way to schedule follow-up tasks for your colleagues. Is there anything else I should be showing, Doug?
JT, I think you did really, really good there. Anything else you think you wanted to show that I was supposed to tell you to show?
No, that
All right, rock
pretty
on.
much covers email at a high level.
All right. Let's go ahead and see what you just showed us.
Yes. So with iEmail, what we just saw, this was the first thing we accomplished. So emailing a committee as well as a new member. So we're able to pull that active roster for a given committee, make sure that it's using the most current email address we have in iMIS, and we mixed and matched. So we did a small group as well as Brandy as an individual. Like I mentioned, we could have taken this a step further and actually saved the email message to iMIS if it was important enough or followed some of our business processes. The next thing we showed was saving an email and including the attachment to the iMIS profile. So in this case, we received an email from Brandy with the CV attached, and we actually were able to bring in that email communication and save the actual raw file for her resume. So now anybody can go into her profile and access that document in iMIS. Then we went ahead, we scheduled the meeting for our awards committee to meet and have kind of a welcome session for Brandy. So we pulled, once again, that up-to-date committee list and included the Brandy record as well and sent that out. And then the last thing we did was that we had a new prospect, Lisa, interested in joining the organization. And so we simply added them to iMIS. I also took it a step further and assigned a follow-up task for Doug to follow up with Lisa tomorrow, and that is going to appear on his task list in iMIS as well as on Lisa's record, giving you kind of full transparency and visibility into what is happening. Before I shift gears to questions, I do want to mention that with iEmail, because it increases transparency, you eliminate that kind of idea of having it be like that lost email. So if there was back and forth dialogue going on with a colleague and a member, and today without iEmail, that dialogue would be isolated to that one single individual's inbox. If they were to leave the organization, if they were to go on vacation, and that member sends an email into our organization requesting additional information, we don't know that dialogue that happened between your colleague and that specific member. So that's really where iEmail bridges Outlook and making it more transparent in iMIS. So anybody can go into that member's iMIS profile, see that dialogue between your colleague and the given member, and pick up the conversation where it essentially left off.
Hey, JT, there was a question here. Can you show us what the EML thing might look like if you were to do that and someone were to open that email in iMIS and then want to respond to it?
Yes. So if we go to Brandy's record again, I will go ahead and tick that box. So it's going to save the entire .eml file. We'll save it as an interaction. The nice thing with iEmail is if it is a potential duplicate, it will populate and say, hey, are you sure you want to do this? You can always just click save as interaction again, and it will save it to Brandy's record. So if we jump back over to her record in iMIS, what we will notice is that it has populated another line item in the communications log. So this is the one we just saved. And if we open it, you'll notice the attachment is this .eml file. So if a staff member comes in here and clicks this, it's going to download it. And when they go ahead and open it, what it's doing is it's opening in their Outlook. So from here, you can hit reply all, and it's as if you had personally received the email and you're personally responding to it as well. I'm hoping that covered that question.
That was awesome. So thank you on that. Lots of good questions on here. We'll stay talking about this just real quick here. JT, can you do me a favor and jump back in? There was someone saying, hey, you know, I said you could use IQAs for this. And they said, oh, I hate IQAs. So it was a great time to remind everyone, you know, whereas we rarely write IQAs for people, we'll certainly help you with that. But if you did have an IQA, can you show us how easy it is to get to them?
Yes. So IQAs can obviously be nested in a bunch of folders and things like that. So if, for instance, you had an IQA in this event management folder, you'd have to go there, default system, queries, registration details, and say the program item or badge information was the IQA you wanted. Instead of having to do that each and every time, you can click this little star icon. And so that's going to add it to your favorites. And you'll notice a little message here. And so if we were to X out of this, every time we log into iEmail, instead of doing IQAs, we'll click favorite IQAs. And so there it is. It's easily accessible and definitely enhances your efficiency in accessing that specific IQA. IQAs can also have prompts or filters. And so you can put those in and run the query to return the results and the individuals you actually want to communicate with.
All right. So that was cool. So, there's some other questions, some questions regarding what's an interaction, what's an activity. I think Billy's responding. Interactions are nice. They're HTML. They're pretty. And they're kind of the future of what ASI sees as when you communicate with a client. So anytime you use the advanced communication module from iMIS, or in your blast emailing out of iMIS, they're always written as interactions. So that's what ASI sees. We support both. Some people like activities. Activities are more custom. You can make your own. So you don't actually you can choose what type of activity to make these. You could call them email. You could actually have, notice right here, we could have a different activity type for each department, and each activity can have different fields filled out. In fact, JT can even edit those fields as he writes the activity. So activity is sort of the old way, but we still support it. But notice here, if JT were to save this email, he can go and change all sorts of things like who sent it. He could add notes to it as well. So he could actually save this email and go, this is a member who has emailed us several times. I really think we should be getting back to her. She's very interested in joining, but she's got some financial hardships. Let's help her out. So as you add that, so interactions are a little more fixed. They're pretty. The other downside of interactions is, unless you have the iMIS data management suite, you can't delete them. So once they're in iMIS, they're there forever. Activities can be deleted. So I love that. So activities are a little more flexible. You do need an EMS to set up a panel, if you will, for that. So that you have those activities on there and the attachment and whatnot. And that is pretty much the short summary of that. The questions regarding, is it clear who was going back and forth? You saw that in JT's activity. So when you save the activity, I can tell who sent the email. The interactions being written with the iMIS API, and ASI does not allow us to change it at that point. So we're working with them to hopefully fix that or adjust that at this time. But interactions are you'll have to open them up to see who the back and forth was. Another question was, well, I really don't want to save every email. Well, yeah, you don't have to save every email. You can save just the ones you think you want in there, which is good. So I'm hoping we answered most of the questions either. Hopefully you can see them all in here, on here. I saw a private answer. Yes, chat box, sorry, it was private. Yes, and boy, hopefully we answered everything. If we didn't, you can put it in the chat and say, hey, you missed something here. Please let us know. Thanks, JT. Not bad for being yelled at, if you ask me.
Thank you. Yes. And while we're on questions, we do have, Doug, do you want to kind of walk through some common questions we see as well?
Yeah, there were some good ones in here today too, but this is one we get a lot. Hey, is an iMIS license required in order to use iEmail? I've got 10 iMIS licenses, 20 staff. I don't want to keep those. I don't want to buy an iMIS license for the extra 10. And the answer is no, you do not need an iMIS license to use iEmail. So you can over license it. You can, give it to maybe your executive director, right? And so that's the next question. Ooh, should I really give my executive director a license to this thing? He or she is known to do some interesting emails. And the fact is, yeah, you probably should. Eventually, you're going to need to trust them with your database. So moving on. Next question. How do I limit security? See above, right? You can control security on a per user. And the beauty is when JT showed those IQAs, if you've got some sensitive IQAs, as long as that user can't get to them in iMIS, then they can't get to them in iEmail. Hey, I really love this tool and I don't want to use advanced email marketing anymore. Well, this is sending out an Outlook. So it's just like what you do in Outlook. It's not going to do a merge, if you will. It's not going to say hi, Doug, or hi, JT, unless you type it. And you're going to have some limits with Office 365. There are some limits to how many emails you can send per day. And the normal out of the box limit is about 500 email addresses on the two BCC and BCC combined. So you don't want to go above that. Now, could you send it out for a conference notification? Hey, we got a conference coming up. Don't forget, bring your laptop. Don't forget, dress warm, whatever. Of course, As long as your conference has less than 500 attendees, it's a great way to send out last minute notifications to everybody. And as JT showed you, you can actually save those as interactions. So when you have that attendee come up to you saying, it would have been nice to have known to bring my winter coat, you can say, well, actually, we sent you an email. I can see it here in the interaction. It was sent on this date. So you can use this just for about up to 500. And JT, I added even more. Does it work if we use Outlook on the web or that new Outlook? You've seen that Outlook preview thing that most people turn on and then go, and they turn it off. And the answer is yes, this is compatible with both Outlook on the web. So if you're using Outlook as a browser or the new Outlook, which is technically Outlook on the web as well, it will work with both of those. And finally, how about my phone? If you've got Outlook, the Outlook app on your Android or iPhone, it works. Right now, Microsoft does not allow add-ins to work on the compose screen. So the coolest part about it, where JT went and looked up our committee and everything, that's not been added by Microsoft yet. That's not us. But you can save all the emails and do all the other fun stuff using your app. So I can go ahead, open up. If I got an email from someone, I could click view profile and open up their profile right on my phone. So you've got some limited functionality, but definitely. And so it's all there as well, which is pretty cool. All right, present time. We have some super duper exciting news. We have a new product coming out. And when I say coming out, it's coming out in February, early February. It is a new product called iMIS Quick Pay. And it is something that a lot of people have been asking for, that in fact, ASI is probably going to add later this year. But we've got it now, so you can actually be able to put this in place right now. And that is the ability to send out a link to have someone pay an open invoice or dues or anything with one click. No logging in. They get to pay an invoice, dues, whatever you want, by simply clicking something. They don't have to know their login. They don't have to do any of that malarkey. In fact, Brandy owes us dues. JT, send her a quick reminder that she owes us her dues. And let's see what Brandy's going to see when she clicks on that link.
All right. So I'll go ahead and just because I'm in Outlook, I'll send it through Outlook. And so I'll do that same contact search, find Brandy's record here. And so this, like Doug mentioned, is just going to be a simple dues reminder. And here is our message. So this is saying just don't forget to pay your dues. Click this link, this one click link to pay your dues. And so when we send this and Brandy receives it, what we would see is if we select this URL, you'll notice it brings you to this screen. And so this is the pay now. You don't have to log in. You'll notice it's hidden Brandy's email for privacy. It tells you the balance, and then it gives you the ability to put in credit card information and pay the amount due. You can also, you'll notice here, there's kind of blocks. You can put additional content here on your form to make it unique to your organization. Anything I missed, Doug?
No, that's beautiful. So imagine you could send that out. You could send that out. You would send this out with iMIS, the Advanced Communication Suite, and you could send everyone their dues notice with a simple link. So when they need to pay their dues, they click one link and they pay their dues. And that's how easy it is. So the payment goes through the iMIS data vault, which is known as the, I'm drawing a blank here.
SDK.
Yes, well, not the payment SDK, but your iMIS payment provider. So it's running through iMIS. In fact, that screen right there, that secure payment form, is known that's iMIS right there. That's actually iMIS on iMIS's server using their data vault and using all of their payment processing. So it's running through there. And if you forward that email to anybody, anybody can pay it. So if you'd like, JT could take this email and put it in the chat, and anybody on here could pay Brandy's dues. And so that's how easy it is. You generate the link from iMIS with an IQA, sorry, but that's how easy it is. We show you how to generate the link, and now you can do whatever you want with that link, send it to people or whatever and stuff like that. We are going to have a full webinar on this. That is coming up February 7th. The bottom link is not accounts payable quick pay, it's Asia Pacific. That will be later in the day on February 6th if you really do want to join from the US, but otherwise it's for our friends in Asia Pacific, and it'll be on February 7th, their morning. So just there you go. And we'll have answers to all those questions there. So, okay. The next little gift we've got for you, we're going to pick it up here because we wanted to get you out of here, is our iMIS Experience Plus. And I'm hoping you have heard of it. If you have not, this was the Innovations People's Choice Award winner last year. As my friend Melissa says, we won because during my demo, I used the F word, and that is free. So this is a Chrome or Edge browser extension. Firefox is not supported. Sorry, developers won't do that. It is designed to really make your life better with IQA enhancements, some cool things for Rise content editing, and the new work bar, which you are going to love. It's available today, like I said, and it is free. JT.
So the first,
who's doing this one? I don't even remember. You go.
I'll do these. So the first thing, this is what your kind of IQA looks like today without the extension. And so we wanted to make it pretty. So we added icons and things like that, added some color. Big deal. This is probably a time saver. You might be familiar with this little plus icon, and you might have said some choice words if you've ran it and it didn't save the filters. So what we did was we put an actual commit button there, so it grabs your attention, and you'll notice the save as, close, those are all grayed out. So you have to commit to this. And then editing SQL has been enhanced. So the old days was copying this SQL statement and then going to the bottom and pasting it. Today, with the iMIS Experience Plus, we added a little edit icon there. And so what that's going to do is when you click that, it's going to paste it for you in the SQL expression at the bottom of the page. And so you can easily edit that SQL without the copy and pasting as well. Doug, I'll pass it over to you for the Rise content.
All right. So you saw the IQA, that plus button. I have good news. You can put this in, but ASI is getting rid of the plus button. They've gotten enough ribbing from us, but they will be getting rid of it. But until then, you're welcome to put this enhancement in. It will make your IQA life easier. But the other thing we did was we made Rise content creation easier. So if you are used to creating Rise content, we did some fun things there. Let's take a look. Here is what your Rise page might look like, your content page. I don't like this. I hate that configure little link. I can't see it, right? I'm old. So now look, okay, we made it pretty. All right, step 1. 2, why have to generate a publish location? Let's just be able to copy it. So we can copy our publish location or our free link. I love this preview mode. What's my page going to look like when I publish it so we can actually see it? Notice as I hover over each of the individual content sections, they highlight so I can see what I'm doing. Notice I can see the name. It's much bolder and easier to see what's actually in there. I can add content, my zone properties, and my configure button has been turned into a beautiful icon now. I like that so much better than that hard thing. My favorite part is the drag and drop. I now know where to drop things. I ruin Rise pages on a regular basis because I drop things in the wrong spot or where it's not allowed to go. So Jake, our developer, added this so that you know where to drop the content. So that's cool. But now we're going to show you the work bar. If you're new to iMIS or not new to iMIS, there are over 275 different things you can click on in iMIS. And it can be kind of hard to find things. I struggle mostly because I'm a desktop guy. I know where everything is in the desktop, and I get into Rise and I'm like, where did they move that? So it can be hard to find things. And like I said, even if you know where you're going, just to create a new IQA takes, I got to go down to Rise, I got to hit IQA, I got to hit new. So what about making it easier? So Matthew created the work bar, which is really cool. Let's look at this. We are in iMIS now. And once we have the work bar on, we will see there's a little icon up here that I can get to with a definable shortcut key. When I click on it, I have a whole bunch of things. These are all the 275 things, including custom ones that you might have redirected to. They're all available right here. So I can jump to anything in iMIS. Well, what are some good examples? Remember I said IQA? Type IQA and then click that button and you are dropped right into creating a brand new IQA. That's how fast that is. What about gen tables? Want to change our gen tables? Just hit gen and then click up gen lookup tables and you're there. Anybody changing tax codes these days? Just type tax. You'll go right to it. You don't have to go find out where it is. So I can jump to anything in iMIS. Even our keywords that we can do up top with our keyword search work in here as well. If you're a desktop fan like I was, I missed this. I could type in an ID and I could hit enter and go right to that record. So if you know the member's ID, you just type it in and hit enter and you go right to the record. There's even more, right? I can look up user credentials by their username instantly. So if you're on the phone with someone and they're locked out or whatever, you just type in their username and you can go right to their user credentials rather than trying to look up their record. Those conference people that we have, they can just type in their conference code and go right to their dashboard or the event details. So just all you got to know is the code for your conference. Type it in. It's that easy. What else? Who else can't we forget? Well, we can't forget that we're going to have to go in and be able to look at ASI's incredible documentation. They really have done a great job lately. So you can search ASI's documentation as well from there. So if you need to do something. Lots of things we can do there. It is just designed to make your life easier and you're supposed to be quicker. So you're probably like, hey, I heard free. How do I get it? Well, it's really easy. You search iMIS experience in the Google. That's how hard it is. Type iMIS experience and there you go. And from there, you click on the link and it's going to say, hey, do you want to install it? And yeah, you want to install it. And then once it's installed, I like to call this the toast icon. And you just click on the little toast icon and you can turn on different parts of the iMIS Experience Plus. I think it defaults to all on now, but notice you can turn on or off the IQA editor, the Rise page, or the work bar. And you can even make your shortcut there. And yes, of course, this works if you're self-hosted EMS. Of course it does. It even works if you're on 2017. So all there. And that's about it. JT?
Yes. So these are just kind of listing out our important links. So all of our documentation is public. So you can just go to docs.csiinc.com and access those. We do have a listserv. So we want this to be a collaborative environment, giving you the ability to reach out to other organizations, see how they're using CSI products. So you can use that link to join our listserv. If you do have any of our products, support is included. So Billy and Lisa, as Doug mentioned, head up kind of support. And if you have any how-to questions or you're running into any errors, you can always reach out to them at support@csiinc.com. And if you don't have email cloud or CSI product and you want it or you want additional information, you can always send an email to me at sales@csiinc.com. And then the last note here is don't forget to sign up for the iMIS Quick Pay webinar on February 7th. So that is kind of the short link to go and sign up and register for that.
And just to be clear, the quick pay is not using Rise. It's not using it is the form is hosted in Azure. And you have some configuration options, as JT said. You can add your logo there and some text and everything like that. So it doesn't matter what you're using for that. The actual credit card is taken by ASI, not us. So it does work with your payment processor as configured in iMIS. It is EMS only at this time. Sorry, that's due to API limitations. Interesting things about the group pay. This is a brand new product. We greenlighted it early January. We've got it rolled out. Group pay is not in there at this time. Right now, it is a single, what we call invoice. iMIS assigns an invoice in EMS to everything, including cash-based dues. But we'll definitely take that into consideration to do that. Love the idea, by the way.
And with that,
a lot of questions. This was the most questions ever. There were 20 questions asked and answered in the chat, not the chat, sorry, the Q&A. I'm hoping you guys can see those all. I do really appreciate everybody making time for this. Thank you very much. Like I said, we went a little bit over. We've been trying to get our webinars closer to 30 minutes, but failing in that. So if we missed anything, please do not hesitate to follow up. JT, if you can go back one more screen.
Yes.
Once again, JT's at sales@csiinc.com. Our support team, of course, is at support@csiinc.com. So if you have anything we missed, or hey, Doug ignored me, or anything like that, please do not hesitate to follow up that. And you can always use our listserv too. Don't use our listserv for questions on the products. Well, you can actually, if you're like, has anybody done this or whatever? And we will answer those as well. So ignore what I just said. All right. Thank you all very much. And no, Experience Plus is not available in Safari, but I'm going to ask that of the developers. So, whew,
All right.
we did it. Okay.
Well, thank you everyone for attending. And if after this call you thought of a question or anything like that, feel free to send that over to us and we can help get that answered for you. And with that, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Thanks, everyone.